All right, so buckle up, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're going way down south to Argentina.
Oh yeah, Argentina, always a fascinating place.
We're going to be looking at, well, how the Marxist movement and the labor movement there, how those two things got so closely linked together.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Those are two big forces in Argentina's history.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Our guide for this deep dive is going to be an excerpt from this book by Otto Vargas. It's called, in Spanish, of course, El Marxismo y la revolucion argentina.
Catchy title.
Which, as you might guess, means Marxism and the Argentinian Revolution.
Straight to the point.
And this book, it really digs into the history of the labor movement in Argentina. Like, deep, deep,
I'm
deep.
ready to dive in.
So was it like, boom, like a sudden revolution?
Yeah.
Or was it more like a slow burn, that built up over time?
Right.
Let's find out.
Yeah, it's really interesting. There's been a huge surge in interest in this whole topic since the 1970s.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think, well, it's kind of like, a whole generation in Argentina sort of woke up and was like, wait a minute, where did all our labor rights come from? Like, how'd we get here?
Yeah. Makes sense.
And Vargas's book, it dives right into that, like right into the heart of it.
Okay, so what was Vargas really trying to do when he wrote this? Like, what was his big goal?
He had a few, actually. I mean, he wanted to, trace the whole story of how organized labor developed in Argentina, all the way back to its roots. But he also wanted to understand how the Marxist-Leninist Party grew up within that, the labor movement.
Oh, yeah. Like, how did they influence each other?
Exactly. And not just the big picture stuff either. He wanted to get into all the internal struggles, like all the disagreements and debates that shaped the movement.
Ooh, the behind-the-scenes drama. I love that.
Right. And what's really cool is how Vargas approaches this whole history thing.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
He's like, he rejects this idea that you can ever have a totally objective history.
Wait, really? So, there's always some bias.
Kinda. He's not saying it's all made up, but that everyone who writes history has their own perspective, their own lens they see things through.
Huh. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. He actually got this idea from another Marxist thinker, Antonio Gramsci, an Italian guy.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, even our conversation right now, it has a certain perspective built into it.
Wow, that's kind of trippy when you think about it.
It is. But so how does Vargas actually use this idea?
Yeah. How does that play out in his book?
He uses it to walk this really interesting line. He acknowledges all the achievements of these early Argentinian Marxists, and,
Right.
But he also isn't afraid to look at their failures.
Oh, wow. So he's not just blindly praising them.
No, not at all. For example, he really admires their dedication to worker solidarity and, sticking together.
Right.
But he also criticizes how they were sometimes way too rigid in their ideology.
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't budge on anything. And that actually ended up alienating people who could have been allies,
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. He kind of saw understanding these past mistakes, as really crucial for doing things better in the present.
Oh, totally. It's saying those who can't remember the past are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
Or something like that.
Exactly. And, it's got to be tough to critique the movement you're part of.
Yeah, that's true. Calling out your own side.
But Vargas doesn't shy away from it. He doesn't shy away from these hard conversations. And to really illustrate how Marxism and the Argentinian labor movement kind of came together, he uses this really awesome metaphor.
Ooh, I love a good metaphor. Lay it on me.
He compares it to a river.
A river? Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, all these little streams, starting out separate, but then they slowly merge and become this powerful current.
Oh, I see. So, each stream is what? Some event?
Yeah.
Or some group?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You start to wonder, what were those small streams in Argentina?
Right. Who were the people pushing things along?
And Vargas points to this one key figure, a guy named Jose Ratzer.
Ratzer. Okay. So tell me, what makes this guy so important?
Well, Ratzer, he was a scholar, super dedicated to his work.
Right.
And he spent years, years and years, putting together this super comprehensive history of the Argentinian Communist Party.
Wow. Dedicated is an understatement.
Right. But he saw this history as, totally intertwined with the story of the working class in Argentina, He used their political organization, the Communist Party, as a lens to understand all their struggles and their triumphs, too.
That's fascinating. So, His work provides all this detail for anyone who wants to really dive into this topic.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing stuff.
So it's kind of like Vargas provided the overall framework, the big picture, and then Ratzer filled in all the details.
That is a really good way to put it. You really nailed it there. Both their contributions are super important for getting the whole picture.
Okay, so we've talked about the historical context, the key figures. We even got a rudder metaphor in there.
A good one, too.
But, like, what does it all mean for us today? You know, why should we care about this Argentinian history lesson?
Well, because understanding the past, with all its messy bits and contradictions, it helps us navigate the present and the future, especially when it comes to social movements, political ideologies,
Oh, I see.
like Vargas's river analogy. It reminds us that today's social and political landscape, it's all shaped by currents that started flowing a long time ago.
So we need to understand where those currents came from.
Exactly. By understanding their origins, how they evolved, we get a deeper understanding of our own place in the flow of history.
Whoa, that's deep.
Right. So, as you keep exploring this topic, keep those small streams in mind.
Oh, yeah. The streams from the metaphor.
Yeah, those ones, what were they? And how'd they contribute to that mighty river of the Argentinian Marxist labor movement?
Food for thought. Lots to think about there.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure, as always.
And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning. Until next time.
See ya.